Let's do a tutorial on how to make foam tape iPads. The three things you'll need is foam tape, wax paper, and scissors. Starting with the wax paper, you're going to want to rip off about, I'd say 12 inches. You can do more or less, just kind of depending on how many iPads you're trying to make. I base it on how many clients I have that week. I like to do it at the beginning of the week and have them all done. Next, you're going to grab your foam tape and stretch it out to the length of that parchment paper and then put it on pretty loosely. Make sure you're not stretching or pulling at it because it will crinkle up that paper and kind of mess it up. Then you'll cut it to the paper and flip it over, and then you're going to want to kind of flatten out those little crinkles that you see and get the paper smooth. And then you're going to go right over that foam tape that you put down and mirror it on the other side and try to get it as aligned as possible to the other side. And again, put it on pretty loosely and then cut at the edge of the paper. Typically, I would repeat this process all the way down the sheet of paper, but for training purposes, I'm going to cut this strip off and then cut the edges off that are not overlapping with the paper so that you have straight edges. And you also want to make sure to keep some wax paper on both sides so that you can use that to grab to remove the pad from the paper. Next, you're going to cut about a 1-inch section. That's going to be about the length of the top of your finger. That's kind of what I gauge mine off of. And then you're going to cut a curve shape into the top of that pad, and that is what you're going to place under your client's eye. That part might take a little bit of practice. It does not have to be perfect. The foam tape is pretty flexible, so even if your curve isn't perfect, there's still wiggle room to kind of readjust it to the shape of your client's eye, but keep your curve pretty straight almost, like don't create too deep of a curve and it should be fine. Some people even use the foam tape straight as it is. I don't like doing that. I think it's too hard to work with, so creating a little bit of a curve in there is really helpful. And then that's it. Just keep making 1-inch sections all the way up. If you have a piece that's too small, you can save it to use for other purposes, for like taping eyelids, and then you can go back and repeat this and make as many iPads as you need for the week.